welcome back to the With Mates podcast. My name is Andrew Grace and I am your host as ever, and I am back in the wonderful Bonnie, Scotland, and I am back here once again to talk all things movies and TV shows. I forgot, is this on film?
This is on film.
Yes.
This is on film! So here is Josef Boone, the Iceman.
Hiya, it's me, Iceman.
He is the smackiest of smacks, it's Polly Smack Paul Stirrett.
Polly Smack is back, and he's back to review The Last of Us 2.
And
Season
he is
2.
the triple barrel man. He is Craig Andrew Mooney.
Hello everyone, here to rain on your zombie parade as always.
Stop
No, not with that. You better not start with that. I should...
Zombies. Fuck me, man.
Why does it always rain on me?
Right before Travis continues.
If you haven't guessed, we are back. If you've not seen the title, we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple, we are wherever you decide to intake our content. And we're here this week to start our Last of Us 2. It's not Last of Us 2, it's Last of Us Season 2.
It's Last of Us Season 2, but it's also
Last of Us Season 2 Part 2 that is only going to be Part 1 of Part 2, the game Part 1.
Is it not 2, The Last of Us?
It's
the last two of us.
It's two Last of Us.
The last two of us.
Too furious.
Last of Us 2.
Two last,
Fuck
two
knows.
of us.
It's the second series of The Last of Us, HBO's Last of Us, and we are here to talk all things about it. If you're a new listener or an old listener, here's how this is going to work, because guys, I've not actually spoke to you about this, but this is how I want this to work, and this is how I'm going to tell the listeners it's going to work. We will be talking in spoiler terms. At first we will do non-spoilers. We will give you our top thoughts on what we have thought so far of the first 2 episodes. However, 2 people here have not played the game. 2 people here have played the game. So technically, myself and Baby Boone know how this ends.
Mm-hmm.
Craig has just not yet had the chance to play the game, and Paul might as well not own a console because he has an Xbox, and they don't do games. So how we're going to do it is we are going to go full spoilers in terms of where we are up to per episode. Now that sounds silly, but what I mean is myself and Joseph will be able to give context into what is same about the game, what is different about the game, but we won't go past the point of where we are in each episode. So we won't do any future spoilers for you guys, obviously not to spoil it for the listeners and the viewers, and obviously not to spoil it for Craig and Paul. But there are obviously differences between what's been happening in the game and what happens in the TV series. But we and Joseph will be able to kind of talk about that and give you an outlook into that, and then it'll quite nicely start a discussion of, would you think that would be better for the guys that haven't seen it? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Paul and Craig for most of this, because I want to get your outlook on the episode, because you guys are fresh. We obviously will then give our thoughts on, well, I think you'll find that this didn't happen in the game, or this did happen in the game, blah blah blah. So let's start off with Craig. 2 episodes in, we're going to talk about both episodes. We're going to talk about episodes 1 and episode 2. Where are you sitting on The Last of Us Part 2? 2 of us, 1 Part 2.
2 Last of Us, 2 Furious. We have to use its proper title. We're going with that from now on. Thank you. I enjoyed that, Joseph. So I can sum up my non-spoiler thoughts quite quickly, actually, because I think we need to get into the spoilers as quickly as possible. So my non-spoiler thoughts would simply be: episode 1, I was underwhelmed. Episode 2, I was blown away.
You infuriate me, Winnie. Paul Stirrett. Non-spoiler thoughts. What do we think? Episode 1 and episode 2.
Non-spoiler thoughts. Episode 1, I think I was actively rooting for the zombies to get Ellie. And episode 2, that didn't really change much. And then I was like, there's a really cool bit here. And then, oh, something's happened here. That things have changed.
So for listeners and viewers there, Paul's non-spoiler thought is, oh, something happened here. Oh, this happened here. It's great non-spoiler thoughts, I must admit.
There's been
Master of
yeah,
stuff.
Exactly. If you were worried about spoilers,
This man's your man.
It's clear that Paul has been media trained.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
Stuff
He's been
happened,
media trained.
and
Wait, Paul's been
I
trained?
noticed it.
I thought we just found him in the woods.
Yeah, most definitely.
Just do it till I run for office.
We're not political.
No, wait, it's not Daredevil. It's not Daredevil. Joseph, what about you, mate? Obviously, we're looking at this through non-fresh eyes. We will, of course, inevitably start comparing it to the game. But what are your thoughts on episodes 1 and episodes 2? Non-spoiler thoughts.
From like an adaptation standpoint, I think the first episode is a really, really good break into the world again. It's a nice, easy, let's dip our toes in the pool, slowly wade in until we get to the deep end. Quite frankly, I think episode 2 was a hole in one.
That's how you do non-spoilers. But wink. Love it. It's everybody that's watched the episode. I know what he's talking about. I share the same sentiment. There are obviously the stuff that we will get into that's changed between the games and the first couple of episodes, but for the most part, this is why HBO is the best streaming service that is about. It does everything that you need to do. This is obviously adapting from source material and stuff, which, again, we're not going to get into the whole Severance argument, but to me, this is why I think HBO is the best. You get the small set pieces, the conversation stuff that is just two people in a room. The script was fantastic, and then in episode 2, obviously much grander, much bigger, reminiscent of Game of Thrones kind of stuff. Like it's so well done, and I feel as if there is going to be arguments for and against certain stuffs in terms of what we know from the game into what we're getting here. Now, I can't obviously give my opinion on people that haven't played the game, but to me, I feel as if first episode was very much right. Here's where we sit. We're now moved on. These are what the now personalities are like, and introduces us to characters old and new. The second episode was where we're going to start now. Not going to start with episode 2, but I'm going to start with a question before I give you. So first, spoiler warning: if you've not watched episode 1 and 2, now's the time to pause the podcast, head on over to HBO or Sky Atlantic or wherever you watch the show, watch episodes 1 and 2, and then come back and listen or watch what we've got to say about the first 2 episodes. So, what my first question is, and it's entirely pointed towards episode 2, Craig and Paul, were you ready?
Unfortunately, yes.
Did you have it spoiled?
No.
Oh.
So I've had suspicions for a while, based on what you guys have kind of said over like the last season. Like I kind of had suspicions that this was going to happen.
Can I just say, it's not just this. That's a big one.
Yeah, there's
but
more.
It's not just this.
No, I don't think I really have thought of anything else beyond this. So I'm excited to kind of see where this goes from here. However, I did not expect it to happen this soon.
Neither did we.
Neither did we. I actually had that question for you. Yeah. I actually was going to ask you that yourself. So I wasn't expecting it to happen this soon, but unfortunately, this is why I warned you all. I essentially saw social media, just not even like what actually was going to happen, but it was just the implication of, okay, why are they doing so much press?
Yeah.
Why is he in the middle of like a photo shoot? Why are the two of them? So I was just a bit like, it's gonna happen now, isn't it? He's gonna die. So unfortunately, I was prepared. I'm sad that I was prepared, but it still was fantastic. Yeah. I thought.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We weren't prepared when it happened so early in the game. We were not prepared. I played this during that wonderful time in our lives known as 2022. It was during the COVID pandemic.
2020.
Was 2020?
Yeah.
Whenever that happened, that time when 2020 lasted for like 3 fucking years, and we were like, we really enjoyed The Last of Us. We want to have that heartwarming relationship between Joel and Ellie again. Myself and Lara sat down and went to play it. And you're half an hour in, Andrew? It's about
wow.
Yeah. You get the opening credits, beautiful guitar music, very sort of ambient, stuff where you're like, this is a scene that happens later on in the game, and I know it will happen later on in the game on this main menu, but it doesn't make sense. And when it does make sense, you're heartbroken. And then you start in the do you start as Abby, if I remember correctly?
Before we get to that, I want to get Paul's quick thoughts on, was he ready? Did you expect it? Were you spoiled? Anything like that? But that's a big conversation for when me and you get to talk about the game. But we'll focus on the episode first. So Paul, thoughts?
So I was sort of similar. I was like, okay, I'm not ready. Something's big's clearly gonna happen. I kind of suspected one of them might die, and since everything sort of hinges on Ellie, I was gonna say, okay, probably Joel. Again, wasn't expecting it to happen this soon. So that did take me by surprise. My main thought, though, was, I guess, from hearing what you guys talk about, that it does happen in the game. But I'm like, do we really want to kill the most interesting character in this early?
I'm gonna answer that question without trying to spoil stuff. He was the most interesting character in the first game.
And for my money, in these past couple of episodes, was still the most interesting person.
It's called character development, and you're going to be forced into it, whether you fucking like it or not. Joel is fucking dead.
Gone. Yeah. So let's get into. We'll talk about Let's get into episode 1. I just wanted to get your, because obviously that's the main thing. Like we're in a fortunate position where we're doing episodes 1 and 2 together. That's the big thing. We talk about Joel's death. We will get into that in more detail, but let's start episode 1.
Wait, hold the foot. Joel's dead?
Did you not watch the after credit scene?
Oh shit! I only watched episode 1.
It's a shame. It's almost as if I gave a warning before we started talking spoilers about if you haven't watched episodes 1 and 2. Funny that. No, so episode 1, it starts, obviously, I actually really like this, that it started with the end of series 1. We get that promise again. Do you promise me, Joel, you didn't, blah 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 blah, and we get that promise, which is going to be very important going forward into episode the future episodes and stuff. But yeah, to me, this was a lovely reintroduction to the characters. It was a lovely kind of look at it's difficult for me because when you play the game, like, because you are playing as the characters, like, you constantly go through this idea of not feeling safe. There's a fucking clicker, or there's something around every corner, and or if it's not a clicker, it's a raider or whatever, so you're constantly on edge. So when you get, especially at the start of the game, you start in Jackson and it's like, oh nice, we're in happy family territory, it's all good, we're all happy, and that's what this kind of showed me as well. Joseph, were you a fan of the introduction of Abby?
Yes and no.
Mate, we are so in sync on mate, we are going to be so in sync on all this shit.
Okay, so I cannot put it better than Lara put it when we were watching the first episode, and she said that we do not need to see Abby become Abby, because Abby already is Abby, and it kind of feels like that's what we're getting. Whereas I was hoping that they'd structure this season like they did the game, and we wouldn't find out Abby's motivations till later, which makes you as the player fucking despise Abby. How dare you kill Joel?
Yeah. So for context, the part I'm talking about is, so there's a moment where you see Abby standing at the graves. You've got the giraffes in the corner, and she's like, oh, so you get introduced that she's obviously familiar or friends or family with the people that died that Joel killed. We got none of that in the game. We got absolutely none of that in the game. The way the game was structured, I think you start off as Joel on a horse.
Yes, you start as Joel. It's which changes from the episode because it's Joel and Dina.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, is there's a lot of wee subtle changes that we will get to, but yeah, you start as Joel, and then very quickly you play as this random girl that you don't know who she is, you don't know what she's doing, you don't know her motivation and stuff, and ultimately our introduction to her in the game was what happened mostly in episode 2. So all the stuff with her in episode 1 we didn't get, so that was new. I'm in the same as you, Joseph. I like it but dislike it. I dislike it because of the feelings that I had for that character when I played it. However, I think for the new audience, and this is when I'm going to come to you, Craig, and you, Paul, I feel like it makes sense. Oh, it's so difficult to talk about this without giving stuff away.
I know what you're saying. It makes sense because she's a protagonist.
Yeah, so she's going
to know
be
her motivation.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to know who she is and what she's doing quicker because you're not playing it and you're not doing the things that you have to do in the game. So like for you guys, like did the setup go right? Who's this character? And you ultimately know, well, she's going after Joel. Did you like that?
Straight away with the graveyards and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just made me think, okay, this whole season is going to be themed around like revenge and what that does to people. Because they're going to, I was thinking, tracking down one man across a zombie wasteland to this city, but still like a bit of a wasteland is like, you gotta have some real hate in your heart to do that. So I was like, okay.
Does that just make you laugh?
Yeah. You've got to have some real hate in your heart to do that. Oh, Paul, you sweet swaddled babe.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fair enough. But so far I'm not like loving the character, but I also see her more as a antagonist than a protagonist. So
again, I think the idea with this is like, it's very difficult because we're all big Pedro Pascal fans, and it seems like most people, if you look at the reactions for people that haven't played the game and that are watching this, we're all Joel fans. And again, I'm a big Joel fan. I agree with what Joel did. I don't think Joel did the wrong thing. I entirely think he did the right thing. So I'm a Joel fan. But when you're setting up what I think The Last of Us creators do and what I think HBO is doing really well, when you're setting up this world, there are no good guys and bad guys. They're all just like, even if you look at back again, I rewatched the season 1. If you go back to, was it Michael and his wee brother? Like, he did bad things, but then we ended up really liking him.
Something else.
But this is what I'm saying is like we.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, am I thinking? No, are you thinking of the same person I'm talking about?
The creepy dude at the end.
No. The
Oh
black guy.
no, you're thinking. Oh yeah.
The guy and his kid.
Student.
The guy, yeah, his wee
kid
brother.
in the city. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying. He killed people, but ultimately we meet him and he became pals with Joel, and you're like, all right, no, he's a good guy, but like you go, no, he's a bad guy, and it's the same with Joel. Joel's done some terrible stuff, but he's the guy we like. So I get what you're saying, Paul, in terms of she's an antagonist. I don't think there are antagonists and protagonists. I think everybody is, and it's what's so interesting about these characters is they're all good and bad.
I get that there's blurred lines of morality, but there's definitely somebody you're rooting for and somebody you want to boo. And right now, I want to boo kind of Ellie, and I want to boo Abby because I'm not like.
This makes me so happy. Yeah. Oh, this series is going to be so good.
Paul,
Craig,
if you only knew what a PlayStation was, like you'd be so happy.
This is why, for me, The Last of Us are the best games I've ever played, because the story makes you so invested in people, and as you say, Paul, it's like there'll be people that you want to boo and there'll be people that you like. I hope I have half the feelings that I had playing the game when I watch this, because oh my god, it's so good. Craig, in terms of the introduction to these new people and stuff and what they do, what was it that stood out to you in episode 4? Was it the introduction to these new characters, or was it something else that happened maybe more in Jackson in terms of like the Ellie character, like the developments with her?
So first of all, I agree with everything you've said so far in terms of, I think this is one of the strengths of the show, that there are these blurred lines, and that there is, I agree, there is no protagonist or antagonist. You are just watching people and people trying to survive in this horrible existence that they find themselves in, and decisions are made, and those decisions have consequences, and that essentially has what's come home to roost for Joel in episode 2. So I think it was smart of the writers to change that based on what you said from the game, because I think you have to see that point of view from the get-go to fully invest in this character, and I think again it was smart, because I think that if you had just gone with the fact that you didn't know what her true motivations were, I think there could have been a lot of unwarranted hate towards this character, that could have potentially had a negative impact both on the show but also on the actor as well, that I don't think would be very necessary.
Well, I will say you've kind of touched on a point that happened during the game. The actor that voiced Abby got a disgraceful amount of hate. Even before the game came out, there was so much negativity and fucking just weird people that were just having a go for no fucking stupid knuckle dragging reasons. So I sincerely hope that Caitlin Dever doesn't get anything.
I'm worried she
that.
does because the people who were very vocal against Laura Bailey's performance as Abby were like, they kind of flip-flopped in places as well, and I can see them throwing that same hate back on her, and just fucking hate.
The one thing I would hope, and I imagine has happened, is she'll have spoken to Laura Bailey, and she'll kind of be like, look, there's a good chance you're going to get this, but again, I think Caitlin Dever's a fucking wonderful actor, and she's doing really, really well. I have opinions on stuff, but I think performance-wise, she's fantastic.
Yeah. She's doing a great job, and when we were first introduced to her, I wasn't believing she was Abby, because regardless of the size of the actor in question, for me the performance wasn't right. She felt too vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that wasn't what was meshing with my memory of the character. But as we got closer and closer and closer to her getting to the tea, we were seeing that Abby again.
I don't recall her having a cuppa in this.
No, T is in TEE, is in like
tee off
golf,
time, as in
Paul.
swing.
Sport.
Oh, golf. that non-sport. Okay.
It fucking excuse me.
Oh god.
I just watched one of the greatest sporting events ever. Rory McIlroy, Grand Slam champion. I've got to Turkey, but don't ever. Right?
Is he the guy from Happy Gilmore?
Correct. He is actually in the new Happy Gilmore movie. So get it up, you Paul, and your stupid jokes. Right, let's move on. So yeah, it's like, again, episode 1 is very much it's a standard kind of season 2 episode. It's reintroducing us to characters that we've seen. So we obviously get to see more of Tommy and his wife, and we get obviously more of Joel. We see that there's obviously tensions between Joel and Ellie. We get the introduction to the new character, who I am going to praise beyond belief. The casting of Dina is fucking perfect.
Immaculate. It's immaculate.
Perfect casting. Whoever the casting director is, kudos to you. I'm going to get her name up just now because she is one of the. She's very, very busy.
She's hot girl. She's hot girl.
Isabella Mercer.
Yes.
In the new Superman.
Yeah.
She's hot girl.
Yeah.
She was Dora the Explorer. Instant Family, that's how I know her as well. She was in Instant Family. Alien Romulus as well. Yeah, she's in she was in Madam Web. She was in all the great movies. She's fucking fantastic. I love her. And as Dina, killing it. We're only 2 episodes in, and she's had more to do than what she would do up to this point in the game. But immaculate casting. So good.
Yeah, as a new character, very invested. That's probably the one I pick as the
MVP
one
of
I'm
the
like
first
most
2
like. Oh,
episodes.
this is cool.
Yeah.
No.
Any sort of like likability I had for Ellie from season 1 has transferred over to Dina like straight away. She's been a really good performer. I think I'm already caring about whether or not she lives or dies.
Well, here's my question, right? And I'm going to put it to Craig and Paul. You guys answer first, and then Joseph, I want you to answer after those two. What's your thoughts on the character of Ellie after these first 2 episodes?
Oh, she's just full of herself and a brat. I was just like, take a little shake of your head, missus, because like she's taking unnecessary risks. I mean, I get that she's immune, but she's still like going, there's a clicker. She's like slices throat, and then she goes and falls through the ceiling / floor. And then, I was in the scene, I'm like, oh yeah, there's the crawler, whatever it's called.
Stalker.
What are they called? Stalker.
Stalker.
Oh yeah.
That was such a good reveal of that.
Oh, it was so good.
Oh, the way it scuttled in the back of that shop. Fucking hell. So good.
I liked that scene, and I was like, oh yeah, look, you're just gonna get bitten now, and then she does, and then I'm like, oh, but there's no consequences for Ellie because she's Ellie. But
Paul.
I just really do not like. And then of course, but I get that they've probably done that to distance themselves from Joel, so it's even more heartbreaking when Joel does pass.
Yeah.
That she never got to really say goodbye or like one last time kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I am hoping from this moment forward that I'm going to like Ellie more, but I'm kind of like, let's see. But the first 2 episodes I've been kind of like,
Fair. Craig?
So, I kind of have seen the point with what they're doing with the character. I kind of think they're doing it on purpose. The way that she's been portrayed so far, and I actually think that, and I want to talk about this at some point given the chance. I think it made the moment where she does see Joel die all the more impactful, based on how she'd been portrayed in episode 1 in particular, but also for the majority of episode 2 as well. I think it was a big, like it made that moment hit more, I think, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the character develops. I have a sneaky suspicion that the character's going to develop in a way we're not expecting, and I think that shit's going to get quite dark before it gets light, if it ever does. That's my kind of thoughts on the character at this point in time. I think that this is going to centre down quite the path that we're going to have to watch and kind of decide whether we are still on her side or not. Kind of thing.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. I feel like Joel is the. Funnily enough, I mean, we know Joel has done some very questionable, horrible things, but I feel like Joel, whatever you want to say in this world, is Ellie's moral compass, and now that's kind of went out the window. So in a world where there's no morals,
again, I feel as if you could say the same about Ellie was his moral compass in the first season, because Joel was doing some awful stuff, but it was her that convinced him to do some really nice stuff. So this is what I'm saying, is like it's a very grey area.
I guess they both grounded each other.
Yeah.
In a way.
Okay. Grounded mode. Never going near it.
They made each
awful.
other better. They made each other better.
Yes.
And now.
Right. So Joseph, same question to you. Thoughts?
Repeat the question. I've forgotten it slightly.
What's your opinion on how Ellie has been portrayed in the first episode?
I think she feels more like Ellie than she did in season 1. There were points for me where if I closed my eyes, I couldn't quite tell between Bella Ramsey's performance and Ashley Johnson's performance.
Oh, that's so funny. I disagree.
Really?
Yeah. I think they've went slightly too far for me. I think I can see where
Paul
you
would think that.
Bratty, and there is a slight bratty feel to it.
So
I think my main thing was like, so see the part where she was with Tommy, and she was screaming, "I'm immune,"
yeah.
I'm like, nah.
So let me kind of placate you a moment here.
Please do.
I really did not enjoy that moment from her either.
Nah, neither did I.
So I think what we've got to remember is, and this is kind of just to give you a little cuddle, Andrew, and say it's okay, and just to hit Paul and be like, yeah, fucking PlayStation. Remember, this is a character who has been adapted from 40 to 60 plus hours of time, and I think to show, like, you would get that level of arrogancy over like an hour's gameplay.
Yeah.
That's slowly down. Yeah.
It's so hard for me because I can't spoil.
I know. There's
so to me, I feel like we've got a trait of Ellie that I don't think ends up where Ellie ends up being. It's a small thing for me personally. I just didn't think it was like it came across like I think she's 19 now, so she's basically an adult. And in this world, 19 surely would age like fucking 29 or something like that time, because you're having more responsibility, you're killing all that kind of stuff. To me, that whole I'm a mutant, I'm like, that's childish. Like, shut the fuck up. There was just something about it that did. Again, this is tiny little complaint.
And what stops you, or what maybe stops you from being a child anymore, or makes you grow up quite fast?
Death.
What happens to her? What happens to her at the end of the episode?
No, I get that.
So I think that's maybe what they were going for, but we'll see.
I get that, but I just feel as if from what I knew her to be in the first kind of half hour of the game, that didn't feel the same.
Yeah, she wasn't as mature as she was in
what
the game.
Andrew, what
Right.
I think Andrew is trying to say is
this will be
that
good.
Ellie being bratty is a little too severance-y for him.
It's not quite.
Am I right?
It's miles above Severance.
That's not even anywhere close to being a good analogy.
Anyway.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Anyway, so yeah, let's talk about something that was very close to the game. Let's talk about the stuff that happened in episode 1 that was very much the same as what happens in the game. The dance scene.
Oh.
Also, your man that's playing Hingway is also very good casting.
The man that plays that character. Which character?
Tommy?
Young Mazzino that's playing Jesse. Very good.
Oh yeah, fantastic casting. Very good.
I like.
But
I like
also
him.
a bit of casting that I was blindsided for. Catherine O'Hara.
Well, we'll get to that because
Big
that's
Kath.
something. Yeah, so that was something different. We will get to, but first let's talk about the scene. So obviously there's a dance. We see obviously Dina and Ellie have a wee dance together. They have a wee kiss together, and then this was episode 1, wasn't it?
This was episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
they
Seth
have a wee
has a
kiss.
bit of a hissy fit.
Yeah, and then we see, so again, slightly differs from the game. Joel would come in and just like fucking chew him out, whereas in this one he shoves him down, and we get that bit of a tantrum argument between Ellie and Joel. How did that play for Craig and Paul? How did that play for you guys?
Was written for Joel the entire time, and then
I think I see a team.
Just hated Ellie's response. I was like, yep, okay, cool.
Like it's supposed to be, I suppose, in terms of what the writers are going for. You could see both sides.
Can I ask
of Joel and Ellie? I mean, obviously, not obviously what the guy that Shitebag said.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like in terms of like Joel and Ellie, you can see like where both are coming from in terms of their response to that interaction.
I realise I should have asked this earlier, and it's just come to me now. Can I ask, why do you think Ellie's acting this way?
Because, yeah, as we said, she's 19, but actually, although she's got the responsibilities that might age her to someone like 25 or something, she's probably still mentally like 15.
Okay.
You know, so she's like acting out.
Okay.
So she's like, I'm too cool for your rules, so I'm gonna go out and kill a zombie with a knife. I don't need you. I don't need my dad. I don't need you. I got my gun. I'm an adult.
If any casting directors are out there that want to cast a 19-year-old girl, Polly Smack, I'll send you CV. Fucking nailed it, man. That's more
he's
nailed
got
than
Michael Caine,
Michael
he's
Caine,
got Gandolfini,
19-year-old
he's got a
girl.
19-year-old girl.
Yeah,
that is the three.
I just
That's
get
a
into the
choice. What else do you
psyche.
need?
Mum, I
Just
don't want
get
to
into
clean
the
my room.
psyche.
Triple threat, baby.
Are supposed to play the bloody doors off? Craig, what about you? Like, why do you know or what think of why Ellie's behaving this way?
So, I think they've deliberately given us this gap in time and not explained how things have like developed and why they are so like far apart. I initially just, as I was watching it like cold for the first time, I initially thought, okay, well, it's just a case of that he's being too overbearing and she's now growing up and she's like, okay, no, come on now. Time. I know because I remember what Joel was like in the first season and his motivations. So I thought, okay, maybe he's just gone a bit too far in terms of being overprotective still. But then after reflecting on it and thinking about why they didn't actually reveal any other part of the backstory, and then Joel dies, I think that perhaps that at some point he did let it slip about what he did, and she knew about what he did, and therefore that's what caused the break. And that's also why she's not like, because she was very, very like cagey about it when people were asking her about it, and I kind of thought, okay, maybe they were sworn each other to secrecy, as it were, about what happened. Because obviously it's linked obviously to her condition and why she has to keep that. So that's my thoughts on a reflection. But initially I was a bit like Paul, just thinking it was just the usual.
It's a good kind of like, yeah, I much prefer Paul's finger wiggle. So obviously I can't ask the same question to you, Joseph. What I will say, and we won't talk about what it was specifically, but for me and you and for the listeners that have played the game, the moment that happens later in the game that happened early in the TV show, did that shock you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because that kind of appeared, and I was thinking, hold on, this is not till later.
Yeah.
Why? This is not in the right place.
Yep.
Why?
But there's been a couple of occasions where I feel as if they're having to do that to structure it out, because this game, guys, right? I'm not joking, right? This game is like 40, 50 hours long if you mainline it. It's a long game.
Fuck.
So, and don't get me wrong,
that would take me 10 years.
Fucking brilliant, and I'm going to replay it because it's so good.
So good.
But there's a reason as to why it's that long, which we can't divulge, because I feel as if that's how it's going to be structured kind of going forward in the series and stuff like that. Again, I just realised as well, if you're watching this and you know the spoilers, don't spoil stuff. Like, don't spoil it. And I want you to comment as much as possible. Don't spoil it. I'll ban you. We want your comments, but just don't spoil it, because that's shit. I won't ban you. Just please don't spoil it, because
don't be a dick.
Don't be
tag.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a dick.
Tag Craig and spoil it for him, but don't spoil it for me.
No, don't spoil it for anyone,
Don't
because
spoil it for
quite
anybody.
frankly,
That's
this
awful.
is one this is a fantastic story. Don't do it. Don't listen to Paul. He doesn't have a PlayStation. He hasn't got a proper opinion right now.
Before we move on to episode 2, let's talk about the character building of Joel, because a lot of Joel's stuff was very new. We got him interacting with Tommy's son, and we got a psychiatric evaluation scene with him and Catherine O'Hara, which was not in the thing.
So good.
I am questioning slightly the post-apocalyptic world. We really have like psychiatric help in this city, like, but I guess if that was her job, I guess if that was her job, yeah. I mean, I get it, but
to go off, obviously what you said, like, do we need it? I think so, because the whole point of this scene was like, so she's obviously.
I'm not saying that they don't need it, because clearly they're in a bad way. But I'm like, you're rebuilding a city, and it was fair enough if that was her job before the world went to shit, and then she's found herself.
Well, I
here.
would imagine she's not trained in the fucking 3 years
But
out in the fucking
that's what I
log
mean.
cabin,
Like,
mate.
for a place like that, you're thinking you've got like labourers to build the walls. Oh, and I loved, by the way, the scene where somebody's going, oh, you need to build this. You know what I hate when you're doing a job that somebody else doesn't know how to do, and they go, well, you need to do the job
was brilliant.
faster.
I love the bit when Tommy comes in and Joel's like, oh, we're not building fast enough, and Tommy's like, have you told her about the dial? Perfect bit of dialogue. Perfect bit of dialogue.
Was great.
But Paul, what you need to remember is about the psychiatrist being there. What is building a settlement in a post-apocalyptic world if not a battle of attrition, a war itself? And remember, Paul, as Sun Tzu does say, the battle is won first in the mind before it's won in the body. So that's
much too cultured for this podcast. Let's say that shite now. We're about bombs and boobs.
That's for our Severance podcast.
Keep that for your Apple TV shite. This is HBO. We like explosions over here, and we will get to said explosions. No, so the thing that interested me, because the reason I'm kind of going back at Paul is because you're saying about, oh, do we need this? The whole interaction where she's like, oh, I think she kind of sussed them out. She's like, I think you've done something. I don't think you're being completely honest with you. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. I fucking hate you for killing my husband, Eugene. I obviously assume, and not assume, it's all but fucking confirmed. We're getting a flashback episode with Eugene, who's being played by
Eugene.
guy from
Eugene. Eugene.
Oh, Joe Pantoliano.
Yes, your man from the Bad Boys movie. So he's getting his own episode, very similar to how we got a Frank and
Bill.
Bill and Frank episode. He's getting his own episode like that. So that'll be a fun wee kind of flashback into that. But that kind of shows you, like, you would assume he turns and Joel had to kill him because he turned, and she's obviously not forgiven him. So from that sense, we do need psychiatric help with that kind of shit.
Do we think that's linked in at all with why Ellie's pissed at him because she went into his little weed den and found a firefly thing? So do you think maybe
Paul.
Eugene found out something about... Do you think Ellie found out something about Eugene, that he was a firefly, and then they didn't kill him at all because he was a thing, so they killed him because he was a firefly, and he recognised him?
And they said he was a thing?
Yeah, that's what I think's happened.
Oh, shit. That'd be great if that was the case.
It's very hard to ask
Smack.
us these questions because we know exactly what's happened and stuff. So I'm not giving fuck all over.
Andrew and I can neither confirm nor deny the speculations that you have, but they're fun.
Detective Smack. Just call me
I
Detective
like these predictions
Smack.
as well because it's if somebody nails one and we don't react, and it'll be fun when we react in a couple of weeks' times. But yeah, like for me, that was the highlight of the first episode. I loved that interaction between Pedro Pascal and Catherine O'Hara. I thought it was absolutely well acted, gorgeous scene.
Yeah.
Up until the point where Pedro leaves or Joel leaves, and it's like one big fucking solemn tear down his face, and he's like, I protected her. I was like, fucking yes, you did, Joel, and you did the right thing. Do you guys agree with that? I can't remember. I would probably ask this at the...
No, we've not actually. I was actually going to ask that myself.
You heartless
it's
bastard, you're
difficult.
going to let her fucking die.
I think I said this actually when we talked about the end of season 1. Actually, I think I said that
No, not for me.
for the good of the world,
Fuck the world.
you've got to let her die.
Fuck the world. The world's an awful place.
I mean,
This is the point of the show.
you just...
He didn't have to. Did he have to kill the doctor?
Yes!
Yeah.
Why?
Right, this was the
He
one thing I
blocked
had.
him.
There was a contentious line. She's unarmed. Wasn't unarmed. Pulled a knife.
Okay.
So...
But Joel. I think Joel would have had the jump on him.
Look,
I think he could have. I don't think he had to kill him.
Joel is not a good person. He's not.
Look,
Killed a lot
Look,
of people. Done a lot of bad stuff.
The matter of the fact, if that is how you say the phrase, is the fact of the matter even, is the fact that the doctor was operating on this, stuff was going down. Joel decided, I gotta cap some fools. The fool was capped.
18 of them.
And 18 of them.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? It was the Fireflies are like a military people. They knew what they signed up for, and bang, you're now your tour is done, and I'm taking that baby.
Don't get me wrong. Again, we got a clip out of it when I says we would have killed all the nurses, and I did. I killed all the nurses. I killed every single fucking person that moved in that game at that point because fuck them. Okay, me and Ellie
I
against
still
the
would.
world. Yeah, I still would have. I'll double down. Don't back down. Double down. Yeah, to me, I think what Joel did was the right thing, and I think the thing that I really liked about the performance of Pedro in these first couple of episodes, you can tell he's no longer that fucking don't talk to me, don't look at me, just shell of a man that lost his daughter when she shouldn't have died. He is protective over Ellie. He's protective over Dina. He was wonderful with Tommy's son. And he was protective over Abby, unbeknownst to him who she was. He has become a better person, and in becoming that better person, ultimately allowed him to perish, essentially. Like, even when you see them talking about him making these other houses for more refugees, and he's like, you need to be careful who you let in here and stuff. He's still got that part of him in him where he doesn't want to let his guard down and stuff. and him letting his guard down is ultimately what got him killed. Like that moment of fucking saving someone and not being wary of telling people, like using his real name to these complete strangers, is the reason that he ended up with a fucking 9-iron in his fucking temple. Like,
did you? Sorry, I was just gonna ask. In the game, did you save Abby as well?
No,
they do.
No.
Do they not?
No. We're Abby.
Oh yeah, because you bump into it's Joel and Tommy as opposed to Joel and Dina.
So we'll now we'll now move on to more episode 2. So again, like we've kind of spoken about the stuff with Joel, and the episode 1 was very much kind of setting us up to where everybody was and who liked each other. Episode 2, action packed. Now, what I will say for myself and Joseph, we didn't get the stuff at Jacksonville. Didn't happen.
Oh.
We heard about it. It's like it's happening off screen. We don't know anything about it.
Right.
So this was all new for us. And can I just say, spectacular. 2 episodes in and we get that. That was so well done.
I don't know if you had the same
shot
thing. Like Andrew, I was watching it going, I know this happens. Why do I know this happens? I'm like, I know I've not seen it before, but like I remember it was almost like a weird Mandela effect while watching it because characters speak about it in the game, and I think it's a testament to how they've shot it and how Neil Druckmann has like adapted it.
Yep,
you visualized it in your mind's eye when you're playing the game, and it's shot for shot.
The thing I really like that they've done as well that's new is, so obviously they introduced in the first series, which isn't in the game, is the network of vines that go underground. We get teased that in episode 1 that ultimately kind of leads us to where we are in episode 2, where the vines are in the pipes at Jackson and ultimately lead. But what they did say is that they've started nesting, so they're using frozen over corpses underneath to stay warm so that they don't so you get that terrifying scene where Abby, they obviously track down Jackson, they go into the big ski lodge, she goes on search, comes down a mountain, starts the hangway, and that's ultimately what starts all the zombies and the clickers and all that kind of coming out from under the ground and stuff like that. It was so well done. Before we get to that bit, oh sorry, Paul, and you go.
Does that happen later in the game, or is that
no
pretty early on? Oh, that doesn't happen at all. You just sort of hear
it. The Jackson stuff doesn't happen. So
it does, but it doesn't. You don't see it happen.
Yeah,
it's alluded to.
You start the game off. So again, I'm trying to figure out the best way to tie this in with what happens in the episode. So the episode starts when we see Jesse goes and picks up Ellie, and within their conversation, you find out that Ellie was supposed to go on.
She was supposed to be there.
Yeah, they were
Joel.
supposed to go together on the thing way, but he says, "Oh no, let her lie in." And he goes with Dina. Now, as Joseph says in the game, it was Joel and Tommy that go off, and that's where you start the game. You start the game going on this route with each of them, and then it somehow, I can't remember, it's been a good few years since I played it. You then transition into playing as Abby. But what I think they've done really well, and it still worked for this game, is you needed someone in Jackson, Tommy being that person where it's like, right, you need your not antagonist, your protagonist here. You need to have that hero moment for Tommy, which again, oh mate, I was edging my seats. That, like, again, I know I'm like, all right, unless they're going to completely change it. I was like, oh yeah, fucking go Tommy. The stuff with the flamethrowers, the stuff, like even the stuff when they're going through the right, everybody, what do we do? And the wee girl's like, we run into the woods, and he's like, don't be stupid, you fucking idiot, you go underground. Like, all that was so cool, and it was like the right roofs and basement, that's what we do. It felt like Lord of the Rings, it felt like Game of Thrones, it just felt like, oh, this is epic, this is such a great, because we said it's like the zombies the clickers are underutilized in the first season. Rewatching it again, there's not really a lot. We get a wee bit at the start with Tess.
Still too many for Mooney's tastes.
Oh yeah, well I'm interested to know what Mooney says. He's obviously very anti-zombie. I'll be interested to see what he says about this whole stuff. But like, to me, this is how you use it. It's like, ultimately you've got your main action happening over here, but in the meantime we've got this kind of going. This is what me and Joseph have been saying. the world is it's a circumstance to the world, but the great thing about The Last of Us is the stories that you're telling about these specific characters. It just so happens that the zombie stuff is also happening over here, and this episode for me encapsulated that so fucking perfectly.
I totally get what you're saying about the Lord of the Rings sort of Game of Thrones comparison. It did very much have that big battlefield. What I'm actually surprised about is that the city survives at all. Because I was like, I think they were expecting like maybe a few hundred, but not the thousands that are like running at them. So what I sort of expected with this series, because it's definitely not, doesn't look like it's happening this way anyway, is what I expected was that the zombies would come out in their hordes, they would overwhelm the city, pretty much kill everyone, maybe a few survivors that you find out later on in the series, and then when Joel died, I was like, they're gonna go with Ellie's gonna go with Abby and them lot, and that's where the story's gonna go, and then that city's just gone.
The zombies don't matter. It's so good. This is what
the zombies are obstacles to the plot happening. You have to get around the to have that plot point of zombies attacking a defended village is far too Walking Dead and beneath this series. Not saying that Walking Dead is bad. It's just because it's not about the zombies. It's about the people. It's about the relationships between the people, and
it's about the friends we make along the way.
Paul, what I wanted to say to you earlier, I forgot to say it, but you need to remember while watching this show, there are things worse than death that someone can experience.
See, you just saying this as well. This is another reason as well why I was getting annoyed at fucking the whole Ellie thing, right? Because it doesn't happen in the game, and I'm sorry to go back, but we'll come back to fucking episode 2 in a minute. See this jump on like clickers and stuff like that? Yes, she's immune and she can't catch. You can get your fucking head ripped open. You can get your head ripped off your body. I'm like,
that's what I was like, they're still strong. Yeah. They can still rip you apart.
Yeah, but
right,
like,
Mooney.
No,
on you go, and then we'll go to Mooney. No, on you go, and then we'll go to Mooney.
She's 19, and at 19 I thought I was invincible. I wasn't immune to fucking like zombie bites and shit like that. But I think it's kind of in character
if you're
for
19, if you're 19 and you punch a bouncer at a club or something, and then you find very quickly that you are not invincible.
Paul, I wouldn't punch the bouncer. He's the gateway for me getting more rum. Why would I stop that from happening?
I don't know what flies in Aberdeen. You do stuff over there I don't understand.
Not a lot flies in Aberdeen, mate. Dice is a wasteland.
Seagulls fly in Aberdeen. Craig, thoughts? So we'll concentrate just now on the Jackson stuff, and then we'll talk about the Abby and the Joel stuff. But how, again, not having a go, you're obviously very anti-zombies, which is hilarious because obviously we've got Last of Us, and then we've got 28 years later in the year that we will probably be watching and talking about as well. Yeah,
and we're all very excited for that. We're all very excited.
I might skip that one.
I'm more interested in that now that I've found out that Jack O'Connell's in it as well, because Jack O'Connell kills it in Sinners, and I'm interested to see what he does in 28 years later. But enough of that. Last of Us. What did you make of this whole Jackson stuff and the use of the zombies and stuff?
I liked it.
Scoreboard trips. Scoreboard. This is like the 5th one in 2025 where Andy's right.
Don't get that excited. I'm not saying I'm like convinced by the whole thing. I just said I liked the use of them in this situation. I thought, as Joseph said, exactly what Joseph said was exactly what I was thinking as well, is that they were used as an obstacle to the overall arching thing that was going on, and the more important thing was what was going on with Abby and Joel. That was a story, and that's what's important for me. As long as that remains the A story, I'm all good. It's when if the whole episode was just focused on let's defend this city from the zombies, I would have switched off, and I would have not been very interested. But I was invested because of the way the episode was cut, how it was paced, going between the two things. That's what sold it for me, and I was excited when that attack was happening, not knowing what was going to happen next, who was going to survive. It was done well, and that's why I gave it a pass in this situation.
A pass.
A pass.
Grow up.
You know, I'm just being facetious. I'm being facetious. But you know what I mean? I respect how it was done in this episode, and I thought the spectacle of it was insane. Like that was, as we said, on level with top peak Game of Thrones, Battle of the Bastards kind of episodes, kind of thing. You know, like it was. You know, it was up there, and I appreciate the scale of what they achieved.
The one thing I would say as well is
this just in. Craig Andrew Money now loves zombies. Is expected to review Walking Dead in its entirety.
Christ, I would never.
God.
I would never.
Is that after the breaking news of Paul Stirrett likes a series? Or
that was bigger.
Just a series in general. Just
Disney.
a series.
Like something.
Quite fond of something. This is the highest rated episode as well on IMDb. It's like 9.5, which completely understandable. Yeah, to me, it's always fun as well, Joseph, like getting to see. To me, the flamethrower part with Tommy. I can't stress when you fight a bloater in this game. This is a game where you have to ration bullets. You don't get like grenades and stuff. You have to scavenge like nails and rags to make like Molotovs and nail bombs and stuff. The way they had the tension of the gas running out as the flamethrower was running out and stuff, I'm going.
We felt that.
We've
been there,
mate. Like I cannot stress like when you know it's like that kind of, you hear like a and you're like, oh fuck, and you go, I've not got enough bullets. How am I going to do it? I've not got a shiv. I don't know how I'm going to kill.
Mate. I was watching the bit where the zombies are attacking and Tommy's firing the pistol, and I caught myself instinctively looking at the bottom right hand corner of the screen to check my fucking ammo.
Mate, I can do you one better. I forgot the game for 5 minutes, and see when they were up on the roof, it was mainly his wife. What's his wife's name again? Maria. When Maria was up and she had like an AR and it was on single fire, and I'm like, get it on auto, and then I went, oh no, we can't be wasting bullets. Like I forgot that, like, because that's the thing as well about the things like Walking Dead and stuff, that doesn't exist. There is no like rationing stuff. They just seem to have unlimited amounts of fucking bullets and blah blah blah. This was so well done, and I cannot stress how well done this was. That singular moment with Tommy and the flamethrower, we've played that, and that is the stress that you get where you're cornered. Good. You're slowly running out of gas or whatever it was on it. It was so well done. There was small moments. I love the dog release. Fucking good boys, absolute good boys, the best boys. Loved that.
So are they all getting put down like right after that battle?
No, because it doesn't affect animals.
Oh right, okay. Like,
I'm sure that's established, but they don't become zombie dogs. I hope we don't get the negativity with the dogs later in the series.
Oh,
so this isn't really a spoiler, but you have to kill a lot of dogs in that game. Like a lot.
You don't have to.
You do. You do.
Okay, there's times you can sneak around them, but the thing that it's not the killing the dog that's the bad thing. If one of the enemies sees you kill the dog or hears the dog die, there are many different voice lines to emote that NPC's sadness of you killing not a dog, their dog, and it's
also
fucking heartbreaking.
Vice versa. If you kill the human and the dog doesn't find you, but then sniffs that its human is dead, there's vocalization from the dog that their human is dead. Now, the one thing I'll say as well, I might have blew up a couple of dogs as well with some nail bombs. I was in a corner and I had to escape. Yeah, it was me or the dog, and I am a big fan of dogs, and I would never ever do it. I would probably just die in real life because I'm not killing a dog. But in the game, I offed many dogs, and it was not easy or fun.
All I'm gonna say is, I'm a cat person, so this means just nothing to me. If there's a dog between me and my objective,
Paul,
I'm sorry.
You've gone after golf. You've gone after dogs. I mean,
My
this could
dog's
be your last
literally
episode,
just like
mate.
lying there, and you're having to say
Go
that
after
shit.
the entire demographic of the Withmates fan base.
Yeah, exactly.
Golf playing PlayStation
Dog
dog
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on one tonight. I don't know.
But yeah, like to me, I love that moment. I love the idea that they were like, there was a moment you see them kind of going for the throat and stuff, and they very much established that it's not a head thing, it's a neck thing that we will get back to when we talk a wee bit later. But the other one, it was a very, very small moment at the very end when it kind of cuts back and we see that there's still people alive in Jackson. The guy that lifts his arm up and shows that he's been bitten, and then just hands the guy the gun to kill him. I'm like, fucking good on you for being honest, mate. Like, Jesus God, like that's nuts. Yeah, the whole action, it was action packed. It was so well shot. It looked so realistic. It was terrifying. The as I say, you got that Helm's Deep kind of Game of Thrones, like ring the bells, and you see the stat, and he's like, they're 5 minutes out. Just built and built and built, which coincided well with the editing, cutting back and forward to the Abby stuff. So let's get into that. So as we said, you play as Abby at this point. So everything, and this is probably the best thing that they adapted from the game. The moment she's running away from all the clickers, the wire fence falling down on her and all that stuff, you play as Abby in that. So, but mate, like the tension, you don't know this character either. Like you don't know who the person is because you just get dropped in when she's out by herself walking. There's no name, there's no nothing. It's just her walking. You're like, who the fuck is this? And then you go and you find like one frozen clicker and you manage to kill that, no bother. And then slowly but surely there's 3s and 4s and 5s, and you get chased down. And it's almost shot for shot. Her getting behind the fence kind of closing in on her ending up on the floor, crawling towards it. One of the clickers getting out. The gun comes in, bang! It's Joel, identical and so well done, well done.
Yeah.
And then is this so? As you as Abby, do you kill Joel?
No.
So, what happens then? I'm trying to make sure I'm not spoiling anything.
Kill
this
protagonist you've enjoyed playing as.
So, what happens then? As we've said, it was Tommy and Joel that go up, and this one it's Dina and Joel. It's a very same kind of thing where you get the moment where he's like, have you got a gun? And she's like, no. I think she does have a gun and she shoots at zombies, or you still shoot at zombies as you escape. The moment you kind of get back up to the ski lodge, Tommy and Joel introduce themselves. Oh, hi, I'm Tommy, this is my brother Joel. And that moment where they all click. Fuck, this is the guy we're looking for, this is the guy. The difference being is, we didn't know why. Our real life kind of realization is when he goes, oh, this is my brother Joel, and they all start looking at each other. You go, why the fuck are you all looking at each other? Because we didn't, and this is why I was asking earlier if you'd liked Abby kind of introducing who she was and why they were looking for Joel and stuff like that. So we didn't get any of the conversations before that. Even we've skipped over a bit. There is a bit where they kind of are in the
they're in the lodge, and they're
lodge. I was very interested because they don't hint at it. I'm pretty sure. Remind me if I'm. Tell me if I'm wrong. Owen, the main guy.
None of that has been hinted at yet.
Yeah.
We find that out later.
No, what I mean is like, so in the show, Owen says about how he's got a plan. He's coming up with a plan. Just it needs to crystallize and stuff. And then they're like, "What's the plan?" And he's like, "I want her to go back and forget about this." None of that really happened.
No, none. It's very much we are here to do a job. It's a lot more military than it is emotional in the game than it was in the show. The same sort of like beats for Joel still happen, i.e. beats as in narrative and beats as in golf club. They still happen. Instead of Tommy being chemically put to sleep like Dina is, he's punched in the face till he falls asleep. With his own gun, I believe. And then when beautiful bit of
that's
choreography.
how I go to sleep.
Oh no, Paul! Don't do that. When Abby shoots Joel in the knee, fantastic bit of like Pedro hitting the floor. But in the game, you know when you saw the knee and it's all that gnarled sort of flesh, the knee's gone in the game. It's there's a divot in the knee and it's worse.
So all of this is kind of this is all played out as a cutscene. You flash back to being you flash back to then being Ellie, and Ellie's like Ellie's trying to find Joel. So all this is kind of playing out, but I want to kind of concentrate on Caitlin Dever because, right, this isn't going to be an issue that I'm going to like. I hate it. I don't like it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm kind of gutted she's not hench.
Yeah.
She is hitting, as an actor, she's hitting the notes, and I believe her character, and I believe that she has this bloodthirsty hate for Joel. She looks like a wee girl. So there's a part of me kind of...
a couple of inches taller than Bella Ramsey, I think.
Yeah. But it's there's certain things that I'm now interested to see how they adapt going forward. But like in the game, she is built like a brick shithouse, and there is a reason for that. They kind of talk. She does kind of mention it that she's trained, like military trained, so they're part of the group Wolf, which is another kind of offset, kind of like Firefly. It's a militia group. And she says that she is military trained, and there's a lovely line where she's like, "We're told not to harm people that can't defend themselves, but you." Sometimes something's just so fucked up, I'm not going to follow orders and stuff. So well acted, so well delivered. Caitlin Dever, she's killing it. It made that character so individual though, that she was a soldier. She was built with her main purpose in life was to go find Joel and kill him. And in this world where you're having to fight clickers and having to fight other like militia groups and all this kind of stuff, she honed her body into being fucking massive. Now the one thing I would say is this isn't really a spoiler, but there is a part in the game where it flashes back and you see a younger Abby. I think Caitlin Dever is perfect for that.
Perfect for that younger Abby.
Perfect. Definitely. And again, she's
that's
hitting all
what we
the
thought was
acting
going to
notes.
happen, wasn't it? We thought she was going to be that, and then she was going to bulk up because like you play through the first game, and you're Joel, and you're climbing up things. You know, he's able to like pull himself up onto ledges and shit like that, but there's a little bit of slowness because he's an old man. Then you play as Ellie, and she's having to really like throw herself up on ledges and like scramble through. She's tight, she's nippy, but then when you play as Abby, she's like, there's a ledge, just like muscle up onto it, and you're like, oh, holy shit. But if we get a little bit game designy here for a second, as opposed to talking about TV, the reason Abby is like that, not just from a character standpoint, but she needs to play differently from Ellie.
Yeah,
there needs to be that different, and a TV show doesn't need that element in it, so there is room for redesigning. I just think.
But this is the thing, I'm open to see what they do with it. It's just, I mean, I'm going like, you're going to have to do very different choices going forward and stuff like that, and I'll be interested to see what they do. For Craig and for Paul, yeah.
Is it possible that is all of the other military people in the game, like, are they named, or are they just sort of nameless?
A lot of people have names.
Like the guy with the beard.
So Manny,
it's not an Xbox game, Paul.
Yeah, there's depth to it. So yeah, you've got Manny, you've got Mel, Nora, and Owen are the main group that's with Abby.
What I'm kind of thinking at the moment, then, if she's kind of hench in the game, is that one of these other characters will act out in that way. You know what I mean?
Nah, because it's not even that. It's just like, as Joseph says, it's the way she kind of plays, but it's also like there's moments within the game that I'm going, she specifically has the set of skills to get out of this, and she's
there's a very specific shot I'm thinking of, Andrew, where she's standing in the rain holding a hammer.
No, yeah, the hammer is exactly what I was thinking about as well. What are you saying about a phone?
Is she on the telephone going, I have a very specific set of skills,
Why is
I'm
Michael
going to
Caine back?
find you, Joel. I'm going to find you, Joel.
No, she did not say that. But yeah, like to me, like Paul, Craig, did you guys know? I'll come to you first, Craig. Did you know that she was like obviously fucking built in the game, and like how did you feel about Caitlin's performance pre-death?
So I mean, I don't really have an opinion because obviously I didn't play the game, so I don't really have that big an investment in what the character looks like or how they should feel, or so I'm not as bothered by that as long as it still makes sense within the overall arching plot of the whole thing. I'm intrigued to see, based on what you've said, where that goes and what she might need to be hinged for. But anyway, regardless of that, I mean I think the performance is fantastic. I believed her, as you said. I believed that this person had this deep pain, and obviously it was revealed, unfortunately, that she did lose her mum very recently before shooting that scene. I think she had the funeral 3 days before she shot the scene.
Oh wow!
So she was still very raw from all that going on. So you can kind of, I think she's probably used some of that pain there in that scene for sure. It was very raw, very emotional, and I think she did what she needed to do there, which is essentially make you kind of see her point and kind of see her side of things and not be okay with Joel dying, but essentially feeling that she had justification in doing it. I think that's what they managed to do very well with both the story, the way it was written, but also her performance. And I think she did a fantastic job. So yeah, she doesn't win the performance of the week for me. There's a moment in the episodes that I liked more, which I want to talk about eventually, but when we get to it. But yeah, I think she was definitely a close second for sure.
To me, I would give her performance of the week. There's moments in that speech where she talks about, because again, like we still at this point don't know who she is and why she's killing him. We just know she's killing him. We find out very later on in the game who she is and why she's doing what she's doing. But yeah, the whole speech about not having to kill people or that are weakened and stuff, which ultimately leads to Joel just being like, shut the fuck up and just do it, which again is from the game, and it's like, Joel, shut up.
There's a lot more
what
dialogue. There's a lot more dialogue in the episode, and I liked that.
Yeah, me too.
It was very good because in the game, as you're saying, he does the same thing, and it's like, shut the fuck up, okay, and then the shot cuts as the 9 irons coming straight towards you. I loved the way that scene played out. I hated watching it.
Right.
I mean, they definitely kind of hint towards her being strong at the very least, because I don't get the impression that anyone else has been hitting them, and it's just been her.
Yeah, so that's where I most felt it, was that. So there's a moment where it kind of cuts to her and she's just fucking laying punches into him. And again, I'm not saying she's weak. I'm not saying she's that, but I'm going, she's quite petite. She's quite a small, petite frame and stuff. Whereas when you watch the game, Abby is built like a fucking brick shit house. So when you see her laying into Joel, you're like, fucking hell. He's like, she's brutal. She's utterly brutal. To me, I still felt the brutality. I still felt the way I felt when I watched the game ultimately by the end of it. But there was that small part of me going, it's like, here's a good analogy. It's like garlic bread without mozzarella. Still fucking love garlic bread.
I don't know what that is. It has gluten in it.
You've got the most boring fucking diet I've ever heard.
Paul, I miss garlic bread, don't you?
But this is my point.
There are options.
You've had garlic bread. It's shit options.
You don't need it anymore.
Bread. No, you do. It's the fucking best thing. That and chips. But you get my point. Is like, I still enjoyed it and I still took a lot from it, but it missed mozzarella. It missed a big beefy fucking bicep on Abby.
Is it still the broken golf club in the neck? Is that
good question, Paul? No, it is not. It is one final 9-iron divot to the skull. But I liked
it was worse.
It was so
worse.
much worse.
Boy got his neck apple cored.
You don't see it in the game. You do not see it. It's a big old fucking thump, whatever it cuts to Ellie screaming.
Yeah.
They showed it in this, and you see Pedro's fucking swollen, bloody face.
Yeah.
And there's one other thing that they do in the episode that doesn't happen in the game that killed me even more, which brings me to Bella Ramsey's performance. I see Bella Ramsey getting a lot of hate. I don't think it's justified. Again, I've got small issues about little things, character decisions, but that's ultimately not her. The performance was there. It got me the way it got me when I played it. But there's one moment that didn't happen. So again, you play as it, you hear him getting beat up, you're as Ellie, you run to the door, and then it cuts to a cutscene and you see all this. When she's down, and again, shout out Ashley Johnson, who we will give another shout out later on in the episode. If you watch the behind the scenes performance of how she does it as well, fucking utterly, it's beautiful, it's absolutely gorgeous. But Bella Ramsey is just as good a job. But there's a moment where Bella Ramsey's shouting, "Get up, Joel! Please get up!" She's begging Joel, and it goes to get up. Doesn't happen in the game, and that for me, I was like, oh fuck. And why I think that's genius is because we are so fucking trained. I knew he was dying, but we are so trained that a sniper rifle for fucking Bill, who didn't actually die and he saved it, he's made a bit, like, we are so trained that the protagonist is not going to die. Someone will swoop in the last minute and save him. So that moment where you see his finger twitch and he kind of goes to push himself up, and then Owen's like, "Finish it, Abby," and you see her impale his neck. It's so fucking brutal. And the moment where it's almost like ears ringing, and you just see Bella Ramsey sobbing as Ellie. But when I did see Ellie, was that moment after where she's screaming, "I'm gonna fucking kill every one of you. I will hunt you down and kill every one of you," and then Manny lays a fucking boot into Ellie as he leaves. Like, everything about that was fucking perfect. Heartbreaking, but perfect.
Fully agreed. Yeah, can't put it better myself. It was beautifully grim.
That's performance of the week for me is Bella Ramsey, just purely based on that scene alone. That was phenomenal acting, and like she delivered those screams of sheer panic and dread. Oh, like give her the award for that. See if you're going to give it for anything. Like she was so believable, and just the way she delivered it was just so pure. I just loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it.
Joseph, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure she gets knocked out, because the scene where she crawls over to Joel didn't happen either.
No, that doesn't happen. I believe. How does it go again? She sees it happen.
Yeah.
They kind of, and like you kind of hear them talk, and they leave, and I think they knock her out.
Yeah. But that's what I was going to say.
I remember. Manny doesn't kick her in the stomach; he kicks her in the face. Kicks her right in the face and it knocks her out. That's what it was.
Yeah. So you don't get that moment where she kind of crawls out, takes the thing out, and like kind of lies on top. But it gave us that beautiful over the head shot down on them. And again, another shout out to Ashley Johnson. No. Ashley Johnson, who in the first series played Ellie's mum, who voices Ellie in the games. It's her singing that song at the end, which she sang in the trailer for the game, and they've brought it back, which adds like a ghostly feeling of her mum kind of watching over her as this all kind of happens and stuff. And again, you're kind of cutting back to Jackson and seeing the absolute carnage and devastation that's there, and then you've got Jesse, Dina, and a traumatized Ellie on horses as they drag Joel's dead wrapped body, and it was what a fucking punch to the dick episode 2 is. And I've experienced it, and I still was sitting there going, fucking hell, man. Brutal.
I have a couple of, obviously I'd like to hear what Craig and Paul's predictions are. Ooh. But I've got a couple of questions for you, Andrew, that I will keep coded. Do we get? I wonder.
Is this for me or is this for Paul and?
Just for
Paul
you, Andrew. Just for your speculation. Before we hear Craig and Paul's thoughts of what could happen next, off the back of the song, do we get the Wayfaring Stranger?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we think things are going to get quite spacious.
I don't understand that.
Like, we're going to boldly go, that sort of stuff, like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need that, don't we?
No, we are getting that.
Was it in one of the trailers?
Yeah, we are getting that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you couldn't not get that, but I know we're getting that.
Yeah. And how, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I cannot fucking wait, and 1 being I don't want this train to leave this station because I know my destination is going to suck ass. How do you think you're going to feel when the boat, when there's a bit of choppy waters?
I think that's a long way off.
As in later?
I think that's season 3.
Oh, okay.
Potentially season 4.
Okay.
So this is why I was making the jokes at the start when I was like, oh, Last of Us Part 2, but this is only part 1 of the part 2 of the game.
Yeah.
I believe this season 2 ends at the midpoint of the game.
Okay. Lastly, we got
Boys, I'm so
Ashley
sorry
Johnson.
this is like fucking so vague that you just don't understand what we're talking about.
We got Ashley Johnson as Ellie's mum.
Mm-hmm.
We got Troy Baker as the creepy dude. Not the
Yes,
super
I
creepy
think we'll
dude,
get.
but
I think we'll get
Laura Bailey.
Laura Bailey at some point. Yes, 100% we'll get Laura Bailey.
Yeah.
Laura Bailey again, stunning actor. Right.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's set like again. We joked like you're not ready. There's still so much to come, and if the first 2 episodes are to go by anything, they're going to. It's again. I have no doubt. Craig Mazin, Neil Druckmann, HBO. They were never ever going to mess with this.
It's going to be like
just,
a spectacle. It'll be pure cinema, Andrew. I think it's going to be pure cinema. Don't you think?
You guys don't get it because you didn't play the game. Right. Predictions time. Where do we see this going? What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? Just for you two guys, because obviously we can't do that.
I think that the zombies, or there's smarter types of zombies, we're going to see more variation there. I think that's going to be a problem. I think that's going to be linked to the vines and whatnot of the city, and I think the city's possibly getting overrun and we're moving on from there. I think Ellie's going on a hunt for revenge. I said at the start, I think this is all going to be about a revenge sort of theme. Abby was looking for revenge. Ellie's looking for revenge. Who knows? Maybe somebody else is getting revenge. I'm out for revenge for having to watch. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going on a trail to find Abby. We find Abby, but considering how important she seems to be, I'm gonna guess it's like maybe we have more in common with Abby than we first realized, or it's not so easy getting to Abby to kill her. So there's maybe we have to get close to her first. Like once we've found her, we have to get close to her in order to finally cap her. I don't know, cap a fool. But yeah, I'm guessing she won't die yet, so I'm gonna say we're getting up to a point where we're getting close to Abby and with me.
Okay. Big.
In terms of just season 2, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So I think the whole point of this season obviously is the fact that revenge just breeds more revenge. Abby essentially just created herself in Ellie. She's just created the same thing in someone else, and I think that she's going to probably come to terms with that on her end. So Abby's going to be understanding the point of view that, well, I've just done the same thing to someone else that was done to me, and kind of coming to terms with that. I think we're going to essentially see Ellie going on this revenge story, trying to find Abby, but I think that the season essentially will just revolve around the two of them, just seeing both their journeys and kind of switching between those two stories until eventually it comes to a head at the end of season 2. How it comes to a head, I don't know yet. But I think we do get that, and I don't think it'll be as simple as that. Just that's it. I think that'll be a future season 3 kind of thing.
It's gonna be a big zombie, Craig. That's how it comes to a head.
The
a
biggest
big
zombie.
The biggest zombie. And they're getting bigger, and they're getting smarter, and that's what the plot's all gonna be about. It's all gonna be about the zombies and how we're gonna fight the zombies. But that's what I want. That's what I hope for.
There's only one thing I actually hope for that appears in this series, and across the games, obviously you do the main story, but there's like little side things that you can do and find treasures and stuff, and usually there's like little codes or notes that you have to find. And then early on in Last of Us Part 2, you find a note with a bunch of different safe codes on it. And Craig, I wonder if you'll know this, but the code is 01382. Does that ring any bells for you, Craig?
It certainly does.
Yeah, so that's one of the
does.
area codes of a place in Scotland, and it was put in because one of the game's designers is a Scottish game designer who worked on the game.
Nice.
I did not know that. That's very
Yeah.
cool. My predictions is just more tears. More.
Something about a joke book. We didn't get any jokes from Ellie. In fact, somebody else told her a joke. It was actually a really good joke, and she barely laughed. So I was really pissed off about that.
Yeah.
But
I think by the end, I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think by the end of this series, Craig Andrew Mooney's list will change for best TV series of 2025.
Oh.
Nah.
It will.
Now,
very confident.
there could be some credence.
On this occasion, I think he's going to be wrong, but we'll wait and see.
It'll be split.
I'm always prepared to be wrong.
Can I make a prediction as well?
Go for it.
I think by the end of this series, Paul will have a PlayStation 5.
I tell you something, by the way. Wouldn't blame him, because I've currently got 3 games out. I've got Assassin's Creed, I've got Split Fiction, and I've got a PGA Tour game. I want to get Indiana Jones. The second I am done with one of these games, I'm getting Last of Us 2 back, because I want to play through it again, because it's such a good game. But that is all for this week. That is all for a review of the first 2 episodes of The Last of Us. We will be back over the next 6 weeks. 6 weeks. We've got 6 more weeks of this. We'll be back every week. We will be moving back to just audio for the next 4 or 5 episodes, and then the finale we will be back here in beautiful visual YouTube form, where you can watch us and listen to us, whatever takes your fancy. Let us know what you thought of the first 2 episodes. Have you played the game? If you have played the game, please do not spoil it, but let us know what you thought of the adaptation, and was it accurate enough for you? Did they miss stuff out? How did you feel about Abby not being as hench? How are you feeling about Joel's portrayal, Ellie's portrayal, all that kind of stuff? Are you a big fan of Dina's casting like we are? We touched on a lot of stuff. Make sure you're commenting. The more you guys get involved and talk to us via the comments, liking it and sharing it, the better it is for the podcast, and the more people that will see it, the more people that will join in, and we'll just get bigger and bigger, and we'll do more things, and we'll do giveaways and whatnot. Just get involved. That's what we need. If you want to follow the podcast, we're at WithMatesPod on all social media platforms. Our Daredevil reviews are out just now. We will hopefully be doing a Sinners review this week. Thunderbolt's premiere is happening as we speak. The embargo for reviews was up half an hour ago, so I am going to go and have a wee look and see how the reviews were. But we will be doing a Thunderbolts review when that comes out. There's lots of films. Where Andor comes out tomorrow here, or now today, whenever this is posted, we'll be watching Andor, and we'll be doing separate podcasts for that as well, so make sure you're getting involved with that kind of stuff as well. We've got lots coming, plenty coming. Big shout out to Lara and Joseph, absolutely killing the editing game. Shout out to Paul and Craig, also killing the social media and reaction stuff. Craig, you've got a reaction out for Sinners. I'll maybe do my reaction for Sinners as well. My review's on Letterboxd if you follow us on Letterboxd. But Joseph, where can the lovely people find you and all that you do?
The lovely people can find me dusting off my golf clubs at the Joel Miller Merker course, the Joel Miller Links course, where I've just recently done like a live reading for audiobook that I'm in. Go follow Samantha Curran _author for following that as well, and just other things on Twitter and Instagram and hopefully Blue Sky when I finally get my finger at my butthole.
A nice place for it to be. Polly Smack, where can they find you?
Find me in the amongst the guts of a splayed open bear that's just been freshly ripped open. That is my Instagram, @StirritStory.
Craig Andrew Mooney.
You can find me on all social media platforms. It's @CraigAndrewMooney.
And if you want to follow me, I'm @Andalf the Great on all social media platforms. But as I will say forever and ever, I don't want your follow. Don't fucking follow me. I'm no wanting it. I'm no needing it. Go follow the podcast @WithMatesPod on everything. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribing. Review, whatever. Just get involved, folks. Get involved. We'll see you next week with more Last of Us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Latest on the Major.
Look at what they did to my boy. They Foggy Nelsoned my Pedro Pascal.
What was Dracula at the end?
The Count.